Hello, Pearlo dads. How you doing, everybody? I'm not going to be on for 2 hours today. I'm going to be on, I don't know, probably be off, probably about an hour I'll be on today. I'm going to be on tonight. That's pretty much why. I'm going to be doing a stream tonight with Peyton for 2 periods probably. Which game are we doing? I can't, you know what? I don't even know. He said which game. I think it was the Florida and the Rangers game we're going to do tonight or something like that. But we're going to be, hey CL, how you doing, buddy? I'm going to ask him right now, but I think he's working. Oh, are we doing Pittsburgh, Washington? Oh, good thing you know. Okay, Pittsburgh, Washington. I'll probably be on for the second period on that. I don't have anything on that game. Does Pittsburgh wake up tonight? Hey Mercer, how you doing? Does Washington? They spanked Dallas, didn't they? Last time they played, they lost two brutal ones at home. Went on the road, spanked Dallas. Now they come back to Pittsburgh. Probably Voracek in that, because he's been playing the better. If it happens to be Samsonov, I'll be on Pittsburgh. No, it's for Vanacek. Jari's been playing like poop. Pittsburgh looks like they're already on the All-Star break for some reason. I don't know what to do with that game. I don't think I'm going to touch it. Hey, how you doing, Hockey News Reports? No, Leafs are playing Mrazek, aren't they? Last I saw, did that change? They're playing Mrazek. It was like the first thing on there. Did they change it? Against New Jersey. Where the heck is that now? Mrazek. It's Mrazek they're playing tonight. Peyton's in the house right now? Hey, Lauren, how you doing, buddy? Campbell's very inconsistent. We've known that for a long time. He's either hotter than hell, or that's why it was like basically Campbell is talking himself out of a contract from Toronto, I think. I don't know, unless he goes on a run again or something like that, but he's just shown over and over again. He'll go on a 10-game stretch where he's just freaking cray-cray, and then all of a sudden he'll fall. I don't know. I don't know what it is with Campbell. It's been a problem with his whole career. He just got less inconsistent later on in life, but he never did become consistent. Slater Kukuk on waivers, yeah. Somebody will pick him up too. I can't see somebody not picking him up. That means they're keeping Lagesson instead of Slater Kukuk. Bergie may be done with Boston? Well, that would be insane. That would be insane. I cannot imagine that. I just can't imagine what you just said. That just doesn't compute in my head. Bergeron and not in Boston. If that's the case, then you got to trade Marchand and just do it all new. Wow. That would be a complete team rebuild. But, I mean, you could do it. The thing is, if you do it now, oh wow. Uh, well, I'm sure it'll be pretty much viral if there's any truth to it whatsoever. Uh, the good thing about it would be that I mean he's going to retire at 36, or did he always want to play in Montreal? Maybe I can't. I have no idea what would be going on there. I'm not sure what the Ducks are going to do. They're on the fence of what they're going to do. I think. Well, yeah, that's true. They wouldn't. Well, at least if they were going to go on a rebuild, it would be a lot less of a rebuild if they would have drafted better in 2015. Ah, I mean, Marchand doesn't. Does he has to have a no trade clause, doesn't he? Boston. See, they got $4 million in cap space that they haven't did anything with. It's from Nova Scotia. At 6, oh, he's on such a sweet contract. He's only 33. I mean, that's up there, I guess. What's his no trade clause? He's got to have a no trade, right? No trade clause. It's 6-team trade, year 7, 15-team no trade list. 18 year no trade list. So, I mean, the thing about trading Marchand would be that he, oh yeah, Sweeney missed big time. I mean, I do think I can forgive him for Barzal. I can't forgive him for Connor. Connor doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Because Barzal, I'm pretty sure didn't want to go to Boston and be stuck behind Bergevin and Krejci at the time, Bergeron and Krejci. So I could see him telling his agent that he didn't want to go to Boston. And if I don't care who you are, you're not going to draft a guy who doesn't want to be there. But Connor, I can't see for the life of me that Connor would not want to go to Boston. They needed wingers. It's a championship team. Maybe it was possible, but NHL trade rumors. Okay, I don't know what this site is. Who is this person? Jimmy the Prince. Despite the optimism, Boston Hockey now reports that longtime Bruin is not willing to sign a contract. No, okay, I'm looking. That seems harmless as possible, but also makes clear it's one of those boxes that need to be checked if that's where I'm at or not. And that's why I don't have the answer right now. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling happy with our team is trending right now. So yeah, it's there, but it's not the only question. It's definitely not the only reason that I'm not signing. It doesn't really mean much, I don't think. I don't really I don't really get much from that because it's smart for a player of his age to just sign short-term contracts. He's made a lot of money. He can be in control. Like look at what he just saw. Like Chara, when Chara left, obviously they were bringing in a new youth, right? Krejci retiring. What did they do to replace him? Nothing. Well, brought in an old Foligno, but nothing really significant to replace him. And I think in the back of everybody's mind, they're wondering whether they're going to go with these veteran groups still with Marchand and Bergeron and how long they're going to do it for. And probably in the back of his mind too. He may be wondering whether the team wants to start looking at getting younger before it's too late. It's possible. Jeff Petrie is a tough one because he had such a bad year. I still think somebody will look at the year he had last year, and I think he's got term on his contract, which of course in a flat cap world doesn't make it really easy. I know that Edmonton were thinking about bringing him back, but there's no way he's going back to Edmonton. There's no way. Does he have a no trade? He's 34, and he's got 3 years left till he's 37, and he's having a bad year. And he's making 6.2. That's a lot to take on for a guy who he's kind of shown to be a whiner when things aren't going good. That's not good. But he had 42 points in 55 games last year. And there was a lot of people talking about giving him Norris last year, early on. So he's from Detroit. Maybe he wants to go home, and I think. But it's that contract, $6 million a year, and he had a really brutal year this year. So yeah, it's pretty hard for him to go through surgery and come back in the middle of the season and all that stuff like that. You ever ask? I suppose the Panthers could call, but honestly, if it's me, I'm really worried. I'm worried about that contract. I'm worried. He's 34. That contract, he's going to be 37. When's the decline? Is the decline happening right now? He had a terrible year, so I think his value is pretty not that great. I don't know what Florida would give back in that situation. They're actually almost capped out too, so I don't see it. I don't see Florida being a good landing spot for him. I don't know where he'd go. I really would have to be a player with a long-term contract going back. If I'm Edmonton, I'll see if they take Barry. Again, I'll give Barry to anybody. I'll be like, hey, you want Barry? Barry and there's another one. I don't know who would want Domi right now. Domi plays a pretty good offensive game, but I don't know. If I'm a general manager, I don't like guys that move from team to team to team like that over and over again. Like it's his whole career. He can't stick with anybody. You got to wonder why that would keep on happening. Okay, he was invisible last night, Bill. I did the stream with Peyton last night, and he was pretty much invisible. Domi's contract and the fact that he's moved all over and over again, he's a pretty vanilla player. Like he's probably a 40 to 50 point maybe player. He's not great defensively. Doesn't seem to be all that great in the room. I think Columbus might be stuck with him now. Durant to the Nashville Predators. That makes some sense. I guess. I mean, I don't know how much. I don't know what Nashville really. Nashville's in a weird spot too, because they really can't afford to be trading away draft picks. They don't have. They need to build up their prospect pool, but I think they just go with what they got. I mean, they don't really have Nashville has a cup team. Only has a cup team if the sum of their parts is greater than than the individuals. So they're going to have to win through the team play and unity that got them here. So I really don't think they're going to add much. If they did, it would be like middle picks for some depth in case of injuries and stuff like that. I don't think they're going to add too much. I think they will sign Forsberg and really just hope they catch lightning in a bottle with picks, which puts them as one of those teams that'll always be in the playoffs, but never a cup contender. And it's a bad combination there. Maybe they store up some cap space and they can add another piece to become more of a contender, but I don't think they're sellers. I don't think they're buyers, and I don't think they're sellers. No, he's not going back to Tampa Bay. That's for sure. You know his dad? Oh, dad tied it. No, just his dad. I don't think Max Domi to the Leafs really make much sense. I don't know. Max Domi is pretty much. I think he's almost immovable right now. I don't think anybody, especially at the deadline, is going to take a chance on a guy that's moved from room to room. The last thing you want to do is bring in a guy that could be a disturbance to your chemistry, right? So it's highly unlikely to me that he'll get dealt at the deadline. Craig Anderson in goal for the Sabres, yeah. Yeah, I think a team would take Cam Atkinson. I mean, he's on a 30-goal pace. And I think they should trade Cam Atkinson. I think they should just finally settle out and say, we're going to do it. Like, I think Philadelphia, I thought about this a long time because I'm sort of a Philadelphia fan. I think Philadelphia really, the only way they can go about it right now is make deals like that. Like, I think this year they can get away with trading a free agent that they signed, maybe. They put themselves in such a crappy position. Because if you deal Atkinson now, again, like I've mentioned several times before, players hate seeing organizations sign players and then trade them the next year in free agency and trading them the next year. That just doesn't give me confidence as a player, or I don't think it gives players confidence that they're going to sign there. Like, if I'm a player and I'm a free agent and Philadelphia is on the phone with my agent, I'm like, how do I know they're not going to trade me? That organization doesn't seem to know what they're doing. They bring in Atkinson, they trade Atkinson. You bring in Ellis, who had an injury history. He has an injury history. Then what are you going to do? They go give a first and whatever for Ristolainen, and I don't know what they're going to do in that situation. But if they decide to not qualify him, and they can't work out a deal with them, they just look stupid. and they look like they don't know what they're doing. They have no direction, and they're making the players' lives confusing and adding problems that shouldn't be there. And not only that, if you're in the organization and you're thinking about signing a long-term contract, you're like, why do I want to sign long-term? So they're in a brutal spot. Pittsburgh Penguins want Craig Anderson. Yeah, that makes sense, actually. Why not? You might be able to. DeSmith is not really that great. Yeah, I mean, it's not the. I don't think it would be the best option, but it could be the best option if it's the only thing they can find. Yeah, I'm really not heavy on anything tonight because of the All-Star break, but I think Boston should still win that. However, I also think Seattle's going to come out flying because they got nothing to lose. Like Seattle's in the let's have fun and see if we can beat Boston mode, right? And Boston's kind of and all those teams in the East right now they pretty much have their playoff spots. The thing is, Boston does have some work to do to get there. So, but Detroit's not gonna catch them. Like they're gonna make it. So I'm a little concerned about that. But if there's any team out there that'll play for pride to win because they just got smashed by Dallas, it's Boston. So I think after that Dallas loss, they'll be embarrassed. I don't think they're going to let the Kraken off the hook here. I do like Boston tonight. Drigger, actually, to me, is the better option than Grubauer. I've seen Drigger play better than Grubauer this year. And then, of course, Linus Ullmark got lit up in Dallas. So they're going back to him again. It seems, if memory serves me correctly, Linus Ullmark almost always backs up a bad game with a good game. I don't remember him ever playing 2 bad games in a row. So, yeah. And by the way, on Friday night, Peyton and I are going to be doing the skills competition live. So you might want to be part of that. We're pretty much just gonna talk about hockey like we do on this stream, and then we'll talk about the odd thing that happens in the skills competition or whatever. But we were gonna do that during the All-Star game, but he has to work. Yeah, that'll be a good times. So let's see if there's any news here. Just Slater Cooker that's still placed on waivers. But anyways, that's what we were talking about. We were talking about like if you were to trade Marchand. The thing is he has a 6-team trade list. So he's got 6 teams that he could pick. So I just couldn't trade him because I'm okay with the skills part. I don't know. Players going out on the boat, so. Yeah, Manson. And that's the thing, Manson. I don't think Manson will be able to be traded. He's just had too many injury problems and stuff. I don't know what they're going to do. They'll probably sign him for a smaller contract and keep him around. Better value in having a guy showing loyalty to somebody. Sometimes it's just better value to show loyalty to a player for all the reasons I mentioned. Especially when you got a young team like Anaheim and you want to sign contracts with these young guys and they see you treat a guy like Manson really well. he might be able to shave off $1 million off their contract to take the discount to stay in Anaheim. If you treat them like that, that's part of the. You treat people well; they want to be there. They'll play. They'll generally play for a little less money. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I don't mind it. I usually don't do anything in the All Star game hockey related. Like, I usually just totally tune out. But I'm going to do that one show. And then I'm going to take a break from all of that. No capping, no nothing. Next week, my wife will be off. She's got she got extra time off because she did so many extra hours for COVID. That's why she's had a lot of time off. So I don't know what my days will be like next week. But Marchand trade, that was what we were talking about. I think unless like he's got to give me 6 teams and I got to get a lot back. I don't care if he's got a certain. It makes it very difficult. You just got to get a return out of that. Simple as that. Doesn't matter what his 6-team trade list is or whatever the case may be. I wouldn't move him unless I get a good return, a very good return. So where would he go? I don't know. He'd have to pick 6 teams where he could go to. His contract is beautiful. If he was motivated to go, I suppose he could. See, here's the thing: if I'm Marchand and they're going to trade me, on one hand, I don't want my team that I'm going to go to be weakened by the trade, right? Because why do you want to weaken the team that you're going to? But on the same note, Boston, it's so delicate because Boston almost pretty much has to not treat them very well. They have to because they got to get max return for Marchand. You can't just say, "Oh, you're a good soldier. We'll let you go where you want and just get a first-round pick in that situation." He's only 33 years old, $6.5 million. He gives you 6 teams, and basically, when he gives you the 6 teams, you got to remind him like, if you're just going to pick a whole bunch of teams that we can't trade you to, so you can tell us where the one place is you want to go. Like, if you could do a 6-team no trade list and then go, okay, Arizona. Arizona doesn't need Marchand. Seattle's not going to trade for a 33-year-old Marchand. So he could pick a whole bunch of teams that he knows won't trade for him. And then 1 or 2 teams that he really wants to go to, right? See what I'm saying? And that takes the leverage away from Boston because they really only can negotiate with 2 teams. But if I'm Boston, I'm like, you're going to do that, then you're going to we're keeping you. There's no reason. We're not trading you for unless we get some good value. So, and I imagine they would want to go out west. And I imagine he wouldn't want to go out west because he's from Nova Scotia. But what 6 teams would he choose? It's hard for me to say. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what his greatest value is. I imagine he'd want to look at, I'm sure Tampa Bay would be on the list, but how is Tampa Bay going to do that? Florida could be on the list. Colorado might be motivated to do something like that for the right return. If he's willing to go west, that would be disgusting. So disgusting. I think Chicago would be off the list. just trying to guess where he would. He'd probably be cool with the Rangers. And Boston would loathe trading him to the Rangers. Because that's an Eastern team and it's a contending team now. He could put Toronto on there and know full well that they wouldn't trade him there. You see. He could put Pittsburgh on there. Pittsburgh can't trade for him. You know, you could purposely look down and go, okay, they won't have the cap. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. And put a whole bunch of teams that he could get traded to that would Boston, they both know, Boston and him would know that they wouldn't be able to trade him, acquire him. Marchand. We're talking about Marchand. The reason why is Bill T came up with this thing saying that it was possible that Bergeron would, like Bergeron's not motivated to sign a long-term contract. It sounds like he's going to do 1-year deals from now on. And of course, people then think, well, you know, maybe he doesn't want to go somewhere else and stuff like that. And I don't know. I think he just doesn't know when he wants to retire. It's probably family related. But it brought up the whole idea that, you know, when is Boston going to do it? When is Boston going to start? You know, Marchand's 33. He's probably good for a bit. But if they lose, if Bergeron retires or declines, they don't really have anything to back it up. Now they're going to have to go after another free agent to play, possibly. And they're probably not going to get one at the price of Bergeron. Bergeron's got a sweet deal, if I remember correctly. Yeah, $6.8 million. What's he going to re-sign for? I would have to say he probably resigns for somewhere close to what he already has, what he's already got. So yeah, we were just kind of hypothetically looking at if Boston decided it's time to rebuild. I think Tampa Bay has a while yet before they're in rebuild mode. They still got Point. Kucherov is not that old. Stamkos maybe, yeah. But I don't think they're that far away. It was an interesting idea. Like I said, he's got a 6-team no trade. So he's got a 6-team trade list. So what's that? 28-team no trade list, which makes that deal pretty difficult. Now that changes over the contract though. Oh no, while it's a no movement, sorry. Oh no, that's Bergeron. Bergeron has a 3-team trade list. 3 teams that he would get traded to, and they're not trading Bergeron. No way. But for Marchand's contract is next year. He has an NMC right now. So they wouldn't trade him now. But next year, he's got a 6-team trade list. The year after that, a 15-team no-trade list. And then year 8, an 8-team no-trade list. That's weird. Well, I don't know, Jack Campbell. If Jack Campbell leaves, the Leafs are done. It depends on who they get in replacement. That's something we could look at next year's free agent list. Doesn't Cap Friendly have free agents? I swear they did. Free agents. Is there, how many goalies are there? Let's see what goaltenders are free agents next year. Where the heck are any position goaltenders? This is weird how they do this. Well, they could go after Marc-Andre Fleury. I wonder if Marc-Andre Fleury would play in Toronto. What about Marc-Andre Fleury in Toronto? That'd be pretty sick. Michael Hutchinson, yeah. You wish it would say, yeah, which teams he could, yeah, but that's private, so. That's his personal decision what he's going to do with that. What about Marc-Andre Fleury to Toronto? I mean, Marc-Andre Fleury's played a crap load of money. Made a crap load of money. I don't think he's going to sign in Chicago. It doesn't seem like the feel that that's going to happen. And no, they won't tell you it's private because they don't want everybody knowing. The players don't want people judging why they don't want to go to certain teams or whatever the case may be. Well, I think they're pretty happy with Anderson, so. Well, I'm hearing Washington Capitals too as a I don't know if he wants to go there or whatever, but I'm hearing Washington Capitals as well. But that's only for this year. Maybe Washington signs him long term if he wants to do that. It's possible, I guess. But you were asking about Toronto goaltenders next year. Darcy Kemper has to be re-signed, and I know that Toronto's had interest in Kemper before. They were thinking about trading for him before, so that's a possibility. Georgiev, I'm just not sure about that guy's mental strength. He seems to be like kind of lost with being behind Shesterkin a little bit, or either putting too much pressure on himself or something. But he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. Oh no, is he a restricted free agent? No, yeah, Gorgiev is restricted. Sorry, never mind. So they could trade for Gorgiev and sign him. You could give Pavel Francouz a try. I don't know. I wouldn't. He's just had too many injury problems. Besides that, not much out there. Not much out there, unless you want to take a flyer on Anton Forsberg. Really not a lot out there. Yeah, sure, if you want him, go ahead. If you want Koskinen, go ahead. Yeah, that's what they've been doing over and over again, though. I so don't know what to do with Edmonton. I there's lots of things that might be good for Edmonton to do. I just don't believe they're going to do it. It's pretty simple, actually. I just don't think they're going to do it. I don't have faith in what they're going to do. Well, I would for sure be trying to get rid of Barry somehow, but like that's the thing with the Oilers. The first thing is I just don't believe they can. They put themselves in a position that I don't know if there's any general manager that'd be dumb enough to take what they've already done. Get rid of Barry, bring in a better defenseman. Yeah, absolutely. Is anybody actually going to take Barry though? I don't know. Take Barry without the cap space, so they take the full cap hit on Barry. I think Philip Forsberg's staying in Nashville. Yeah, I'd be very happy with Martinook. I wouldn't even call him Walmart. That would be freaking beautiful. Do you think they would? I don't know. Like, would he want to go to Edmonton? Where was he before? Where was he before Martinook? Vegas, right? Wasn't he with Vegas? I'd be very happy with Martinook. He can play center, wing, right wing. 1.8 million. Beautiful contract. Didn't really put up the points this year. He's from Brandon, Manitoba. Yeah, I'd be happy with Martinook. Send him over. I don't think that Rutherford's going to be stupid enough to sign Tyson Barrie, to trade for Tyson Barrie. And what are we going to get back from him? Like, really, if you trade Tyson Barrie, you got to hope that somebody will take his full contract. I don't know. Maybe there is. Maybe there is. It's hard for me sometimes to get a read on what general managers think of a player. If there's some general manager out there, maybe, that can see some value in Barrie at, what's he getting, $3.5 million? That desperately needs an offensive defenseman, like really desperately. One of the reasons, I wonder why Slater, so they're going to take William Lagesson, who makes 200,000 less than Slater, so they're only saving 200,000. I wonder if that's a primer for a goaltender, but what the heck is Barry's contract? Barry. He's on injured reserve now, anyways. He's 30. Man, it just seems like he's going to turn into a Gardner and fade away at 30 years old and never come back. He's at $4.5 million. Who the heck is going to do that? I just don't see it. I just don't see anybody picking up that contract. Some general manager was not even thinking. I didn't watch him play this year. San Jose. Like somebody desperate for maybe the Seattle Kraken. Maybe I just can't see Francis not. I just can't see that being his guy. Vince Dunn looks like he's kind of set himself up there pretty good. Carson Soucy. I'll take Carson Soucy. Save a little cap space or something like that. I mean, I don't know. Casey Cizikas makes $6. Does he make $6 million this year? Hey, Brian, NASCAR fan, welcome back to the live, my friend. Oh, did you start your own? Did you start your own site now? Top tier two-way forward guys. I would put. Did you put Horvat in there? Yeah. I'd probably put Eck in there almost. Getting there. Top tier two-way forward guys. Verhaeghe. The dude from Calgary there. Mangiapane. Carlson's turned himself into a really good one too. But those are off the top of my head. Those are really good ones too. I just think the whole Islanders team has been bad, and this is when they've had to rely on their fourth line more than ever, and they're just tired. I think the New York Islanders are just plain tired. I think they're just tired. It's been a long go for them in the short off season, and I wonder how they're feeling going into this last game. I think Ottawa could win this tonight. I just think Ottawa's got the younger legs. They're on a heater as far as energy is concerned. You got Brady Tkachuk. I could see Ottawa winning that game. Again, there's another one where Kyle Palmieri doesn't really have much value right now. I'm pretty sure he was brought over from New Jersey with a verbal saying we're not going to trade you. Like his whole point was to stay in that area. So, and Lamoriello's like that. He doesn't really put things on paper. His word is his word, and if he says something, he's not. If he says something to bring you there, he'll honor that all the way through. So. Yeah, they're on a back-to-back, but like those young legs, that doesn't hurt them all that much. I mean, I'm not huge on it. I'd feel a lot better about Ottawa if they had Norris in, but they just have a desire on that team, and I would feel better if Murray was playing, which I didn't think I'd be saying that. Yeah, they are playing against the dead last team. The thing I think that has me on Boston there is the 6-1 loss to Dallas. The thing is they just got back from that Western road trip, which they obviously pooched out on. So the question is that team like tired now? They don't need this win. And if Seattle comes out and plays hard against them to begin with, they may just kind of like, I don't want to work that hard today. We're going to our break and stuff like that. But I don't like it's a tough spot. Matt Dumba's out tonight. Minnesota's playing tonight? I didn't even think Minnesota was playing tonight. Minnesota's not playing tonight. Yeah, they're not playing. Minnesota's not playing tonight. Oh, Matt Dumba got hurt. Okay. Yeah, Ottawa's on. Like I said, I don't know. I don't have much faith in the Islanders right now. I do. Sorokin's in, and that's good. Forsberg is I don't know. It feels like a tie, maybe. It's a really tough card tonight. I'll go over it real quick. Like, to me, it's a really tough. Boston should win that game in regulation. Should. They just got spanked 6-1. Yeah, they should win that. They do kind of need the win. The problem I have with the Western versus the East teams right now is that it doesn't like it's hard to get up for that game because it's not a rivalry and it's not a good team you have to beat. And in the East, it's pretty much set that everybody's making the playoffs. And that's the reason why I think Pittsburgh is kind of finding a difficult time. Like, Pittsburgh plays best when there's a reason to play. There's not too many teams knocking on their door. Boston, what are the thing is they are in the second wild card spot, but the closest team to them is Detroit at 46 points. 46, I mean, it's still, what's that? 4, 6, it's only 7 games. See, I think they're motivated to get ahead of them. However, they have 4 games in hand on Detroit. The Islanders have 5 games in hand. If they won all of their games, then they would be ahead of them, but Boston would have to lose them all. So, and Boston and Washington are both in those wild card positions right now. So I think they can find enough to play for here that they should beat Seattle. Hey, Brandon Sikora, how you doing? Does Dylan Strome's confidence boost his trade value? I mean, maybe a little bit. It doesn't hurt, I guess. But if you, uh, somebody will pick him up. I don't know who would give him a shot. There's talk about the Bruins but that he's kind of the guy that people will that teams will look at. They'll kind of go back at. After, I don't think he gets traded to the deadline, and it'll be later in the deadline when people know they're out on Hurdle, Miller, guys like that. I could see possibly Minnesota throwing a little bit in there because they seem to be all right at reclamation projects. He is a good passer, so they could try him with a shooter like Fiala or something like that. But the thing is, he can't keep up to anybody. He's got to really use his head because his legs aren't going to get him to a lot of places. So he has to find the quickest route everywhere. Yeah, it could be a fluke, and that his overall. It's a small sample size. His overall sample size says that it probably is. But he is young. He does have skill. He was a third overall. Somebody's going to give him a shot. Somebody is for sure going to give him a shot. I could see possibly Nashville doing it. They've built up a great chemistry there in Nashville. That seems like it right there. It feels like a Nashville pickup. They add a little bit to their team. They don't have to give up too much to get it. It's a young player where they need to continue bringing in youth in that lineup. And then they just continue working with him again like he has done twice already. And, and hasn't progressed all that much, and hope he progresses because Nashville really needs to do kind of stuff like that. They're not in a position to really tear it down, but they're also got to find a way to get better depth in their roster because they don't have much. And if you can't trade your veteran players for picks to increase your depth, you got to find other ways to do it. So I think possibly Nashville would think about giving him up, but I think the return would not be fun. Like Rocco Grimaldi, who I really like, and I don't even think they'd hate to give up a second. So I don't think the return would be much, honestly. Oh, they'll work out a deal. The city of Calgary, they're all like entrenched businessmen, and they're going to work every angle and leverage they can possibly get to make that deal the best that they can. They're not the city of Calgary is not known to bending to is not known for their bending to corporate people like that. Yeah, he's probably a third. You might get Rocco Grimaldi, who I really like. He's down in the minors now. And a third round pick or something like that. He's not young, but he's a guy that's put up some decent points. He's one of those small players that breaks down. You can only play him 10 minutes a night. And he plays his bag off, but his body can't hold up to the way he plays for a lot of minutes. So, Better than Connolly, that's for sure. Yeah, I think Matthew Tkachuk is using all the angles he can get to get as big a contract as possible. I don't think Calgary's not going to let him go, I don't think. I think Sherrod will probably bring in the most. When it comes to the playoffs, people will give up first for guys that can wear the other team down. His analytics are not that great. He's not as good of a defensive player as people give him credit for. But two factors. Many organizations still don't follow analytics very well right now. And secondly, Sherrod's value sometimes isn't just on paper, especially when it comes to the playoffs. He can really soften a team up in the defensive zone. And over a 7-game series, that is pretty valuable. So I don't think Petry's going to get a lot. His contract's too long. I don't even know if he'll get a first. I think Sherrod will probably get a first from someone. Florida or something like that, or a second and a good prospect. Petry's 34 and he's got 3 years left at 6+ after a horrible year where he's been complaining ad nauseum. So I'm not a big fan. I mean, then on the other hand, there's going to be organizations out there that saw what Petry was when things were going well. And there's two different Petrys. When things are going well, he is one thing. When he isn't, he is another. That's the thing. When things are not going well, Petry gets very whiny and complaining and is almost a cancer in the room. But when things are going well, so what team has cap space for the next 3 years that's willing to take a shot on Petry till he's 37 years old? You got me on that one. That's the problem. It's the length of his contract. How much of a decline do you think he's going to have? I think there's teams out there that are going to think he's a top 4 or definitely use him in the top 4. I think if Florida went out to get him, he'd be a top 4 guy. That's the team I keep on hearing over and over again, is Florida. But he's a free agent at the end of the year. So once you get him over there and you come up to the conclusion that he's not a top 4, you just let him go. But in the playoffs, he has more value in the playoffs than he does in the regular season. And that's really what they're getting him for. So besides that, Savard, I don't think Savard, I didn't even think Savard had a good year last year, even when he was in Tampa. He was kind of gifted that cup because he didn't really deserve it. He didn't have a good year in Columbus. They traded him away. He's been on decline for quite a while. Somebody, because he's got a cup and stuff, somebody's going to drop a second or a third for him for sure. No doubt about that. Every year, Chris Tierney's on the trade block. It's weird that he stuck it out. He stayed in Ottawa as long as he has. But I would imagine this has to be finally the year that he goes somewhere to give somebody center depth. Somebody will pick him up for center depth, I imagine. I'm pretty sure Ottawa will be sellers. Vegas signed 3 players. Yeah, those are pretty good deals too. Who were they again? Tom Brady is going to retire now. He's the GOAT. What else is there to say? I'm not. I don't follow football that great. My team is. I'm going for the Bengals this year. I love Burrow. Burrow is freaking awesome. I'm a Browns fan, but now what's now that he's gonna go, that's the reason why what are they gonna do now? Tampa. What's Tampa? What's the Bucks gonna do now? They got nothing now, right? But they won, so I mean, he's a legend. He's the GOAT. He's decided to retire for sure. The Bucks go after Wilson? Okay. That makes sense. He probably is. He won't get anything much in return, so it won't really matter. I mean, like I said, I don't follow NFL all that much, but what can you say about Brady? He's did everything. Like Brady, for the reason it's not that I don't like football. It's just I'm such a huge hockey fan that I pretty much put all my effort towards that. But for a person that's sort of an outside football NFL fan or whatever, guys like Brady are the reason why your average fan watches football. The guy's done more for the game than just about any player ever. Like, at the very least, if I know Brady is playing, I will watch for a while just to watch him, what he's going to do. Especially if he's down a couple touchdowns or something and he goes on those runs where he just doesn't miss anything. Just boom, boom, boom. It's freaking incredible. I don't care what you're a fan of or whatever the case may be in any sport. Guys like Brady will have your average fan or somebody who's not even a fan of sports. He does things that make you go, what? That's insane. That is insane. And when he got on a roll, and it almost always when they were down a little bit or whatever, there's few quarterbacks that when it comes down to crunch time, when it comes down to the pressure situations, when you're behind or whatever, you almost have the feeling, they're going to win for sure. Like, it's not even close to over if Brady is your quarterback and you're down 2 touchdowns. Not even close. Burrow looks like he's got that. And of course, KC there or whatever. Yeah, same thing. But there's only a couple. Rodgers, of course, he could be retiring now too. I mean, just those amazing guys. But he was to the ultimate degree. Ultimate degree. NFL has another acronym, not for long. Why do you say that? I don't know. Will Letang sign for a low deal next year? He seems to indicate. I think I heard a quote of him saying that No, it was Malkin. I made a lot of money. I think Malkin's the one that's going to do that. I think Malkin's going to sign low. Maybe Letang will too. Maybe they'll all sign low to stay together. Oh, short careers. Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. But Burrow is so good that it doesn't, he makes up for that. For sure, it's got to be the It's got to be the Rams, right? The Rams are going to win. The Rams are going to win in a low-scoring game, probably. Yeah, well, it's a brutal sport. There's a good discussion to have. Which is a tougher sport, hockey or football? I have this discussion with Steele sometimes, and I mean, in a one game, for one game, I think football is a tougher sport for sure. I think there's way more abuse taken in football in a one game, but over the whole season, maybe hockey. But for one game, some of the things those receivers, like hits that they take and just get up like nothing happened. Like, I swear to God, if that happened in hockey, the guy wouldn't get up for a while. Like, it is insane the abuse you take in one game in football. It's crazy. No wonder they only have 2-3 years, especially receivers and, yeah. Letang, I can't see Letang going to Montreal. I know he's from that area and stuff like that. Letang wants to be a Penguin, so will he sign for less? It's one of the most interesting storylines. There is so many teams in that spot right now. Chicago, Pittsburgh, and Boston, and legendary teams in that spot of what are you going to do with your veterans now? And I think it's going to completely depend on how competitive they are in the playoffs this year. If they feel like this team isn't good enough to compete with the Floridas, Tampa Bays, it's possible they could all just sit down and say, you know what, the run's over, guys. It's time to move on. It's possible. And when you see them, it's getting close to that break time, and they look like they completely pooched out the last 3 games. What do you take them in Washington right now? I can't take Pittsburgh against Washington after they lost to Seattle. Now they might get up for this game and give her, but I'm probably off of this game. I'm off of that game. I don't know what to do with that game. But I think I'm gonna head her, guys. I said I wasn't gonna do a full stream today. I gotta go do some stuff. So this was fun, guys. Thank you for coming in. I got a stream to do. I'm doing a stream tonight with Peyton. Washington, Pittsburgh. We were just talking about. I'll probably get in there at about 6ish, somewhere around there. So head over to Peyton on the radio. Sub up to him. I'm going to be on there tonight. I'll talk to you guys tonight. Thanks for coming in for the stream today. Have a great day, everybody. Talk to you later. Okay, bye.